Good evening and welcome to the Village of Sleepy Hollow Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, July 17th, 2019. We have just one item on the agenda for this evening. David Fish, the property at 2 Highland Avenue Extension for roofline alterations. Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Sleepy Hollow will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, July 17th, 2019 at 8 p.m. in the Municipal Building, 28 Beacon Avenue, Sleepy Hollow, New York, to hear and consider the application of David Fish to alter the roof of an existing single-family residence where the following variances are required. The first variance, Article 6, 450-34B, applicability of regulations, adding to and altering an existing non-conforming building, minimum front yard setback of 30 feet, the existing 18.3 feet. The second variance is Article 6, 450-35, Schedule of Regulations, minimum front yard setback 30 feet, existing front yard setback 17.3 feet, the proposed front yard setback 16.8 feet. The third variance is Article 6, 450-40B5, coverage and open space, maximum eave projection 1.5 feet. The existing eave projection is 0.0 feet. The proposed eave projection is 1.6 feet. The property involved in the application is located at 2 Highland Avenue Extension, is situated in the R2 zoning district, and is shown on Town Text assessment maps as section 110.19, block 3, lot 82. A copy of the application and proposal is available for review at the Department of Architecture, Land Use Development, Buildings, and Building Compliance during normal business hours. All people are entitled to attend and be heard at this public hearing by order of the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Village of Sleepy Hollow. Included in the packet, we have a full packet, actually, a Zoning Board of Appeals application, parts 1 through 4, the zoning compliance form, a copy of a land survey conducted in November of 2001, a copy of the deed and the sale, some photographs with what appear to be roofline images prepared by the applicant, and then a full set of drawings A0, D101, A002, 101, 102, 103, 301, 302, 303, 403, 405, and Z001. We'll just pause for a few minutes. I was just...
I'm an attorney with the law firm of Reisman, Rubio, and Altman. My office is located right in Hawthorne at 151 Broadway. And I'm proud to represent David Fish and Wanda Wilmore in connection with their application this evening before you for variances in connection with a project at the premises located at 2 Highland Lane in the Village of Sleepy Hollow. So as the board may be aware, approximately 2 years ago, this board approved variances of the same nature. And I have copies of the resolution, of the minutes of the meeting if any board members need to see them. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to review them, but I'm happy to provide them if you wish. So what we're doing this evening is that we're seeking variances due to the existing front yard setback. We have a pre-existing condition in which the garage at the premises violates the front yard setback. And in addition, as noted in the public meeting notice, it does indicate that we need a 1-inch variance for an eave overhang. We're not so sure that's 100% accurate, but Mr. Pish can explain that a little bit further in connection with the plans. So in our project that we're seeking the variances for, it's relatively simple. So we're looking to remove all of the existing siding at the premises and the existing insulation and replace it. And in addition, what we're looking to do is we're removing the roof and framing, and we're installing new roof and framing, and the new roof line will be a little bit higher than it is currently. And the reason for doing that is that so it's architecturally and visually symmetrical to the remaining portions of the home. So with respect to the work that we're proposing to do, it would result in an extremely minor increase in the overall footprint of the home of less than 0.5%. It's 0.42% of an increase in the footprint. And the height of the roof of the garage would be increased for materials he intends to use with respect to that installation to the Village of Sleepy Hollow Building Department, so they have all the information they need. In addition, the roof line in the garage, again, we're raising that so it'll be peaked and it'll correspond with the remaining architectural features of the living space at the house. Now, this application, it will not result in the increase or the creation of any additional living space. And there's no interior work being done at the premises. So we're asking that because these variances are not substantial, that the board grant them. Again, the setback nonconformity is being increased by, and I believe it was indicated by Mr. McCarthy last time when this was before the board, it's plus or minus 6 inches all around the house. In addition, the eave threshold, again, my clients are not 100% in agreement with that, but the eave extension would be 1 inch, if at all, over the allowable tolerance permitted by the Village of Sleepy Hollow. And by permitting these variances, the board would not allow this house to be out of character for the neighborhood. All of the homes, in fact, I took a site visit there right before the storms came. I got to see the lightning crashing down into the Hudson River on our way over. But this would not be out of character for the neighborhood. All of the homes on that street, they all project into the front yard setback. And the increase in the height of the roof for the garage, it would not obstruct anyone's view from their home or anything like that. I had an opportunity to view that for myself because the only neighbor that it could possibly affect is directly across the street, and her home sits approximately 30 feet higher. And there'd be no adverse impact on the environment because, again, as I'd mentioned, this new type of insulation technique that Mr. Pish and Ms. Wilmore are going to use for the home, it would result in increased energy savings. So if there's any questions from the board, we'd be happy to take them.
I would like to make one quick note that even though the members of the Sleepy Hollow Building Department are not here, I was told that all of the returns are in, and just for the record, I wanted to state that everybody who was supposed to be notified was notified and that those are all back.
Thank you.
Does anyone on the board have any questions for the applicant?
Very large packet, so I just have a couple questions just for some clarification.
Sure.
The pictures here are the two sets that have the sort of yellow and blue and red lines. What do those indicate? I have a fairly good guess, but I just want to have it confirmed what I'm looking at with those. Yeah.
If you need an extra copy,
Yeah,
I
we have
one here.
Yeah.
So, sorry, yeah. The yellow is showing the existing and the blue is showing the proposed.
And red would be the, I'm
Red.
guessing the,
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, red, I'm trying to estimate the adjacent property.
oh, the
So
adjacent.
com-
Okay, I wasn't sure whether that was that or whether that was the allowable height. Well, either way, you were
No.
underneath it. So I see what you're showing. You're showing that that's the home next door's height of it,
Yeah.
which is still,
We
which is
did-
above what you're trying to do here. Okay.
Yeah, in relation to that, we did something similar last time, which is we pegged some stakes, you might be able to see them in the images, to the sides of the eaves, sides of the roof to indicate the height.
Got it.
So we did that
Yes, I
for
see that. Yep.
the
Yes.
neighbors to get an assessment of it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah, that's that.
Okay, and then this is what the finished
Yeah,
will look like,
Yep, yep.
correct? Yeah, great.
that's our house.
I'm just curious as to what the R value of the insulation is, the new technology that you're putting around, if you know?
I think we're doing 2 layers of this. That's a good question. I'm gonna say that 2 layers of this gives us an R30.
Okay.
I need to confirm it. Do I have this in the drawings? I guess I don't have it in the drawings.
I didn't find it, but I was just curious. It's not
I'm trying
in
to
any way.
remember if you did.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give it to you in a second.
Minimum You have a minimum mass wall R values, 813, but
Where are you seeing that?
this is on your A000, your stamp page.
Don't worry about it. I don't want that question to derail the conversation and the discussions. I was just simply curious. So.
The reason it kind of threw me a little bit, because the point of it is that when you get to the second level, the new construction with interior bat insulation and this would comply with the new code of R30, I think. So
Right.
I think that's
So it's at least
on its own
it's at least R30, right? Okay.
with the interior bat insulation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
We're trying to get as high of an energy efficiency as possible on these.
I figured. Yeah. Okay.
And then all the flame spread and the other information on that.
Okay, I got the answer to the one.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a neighbor that was nice enough to come and support the application. If you want to hear from her.
We'll open that for
We
public.
we
and-
have to
yeah,
open the
yeah,
public
yeah,
hearing,
yeah, I got that.
so we have to do that.
My apologies, it's been a
That's
while.
okay. That's okay.
We're in no rush, it's raining anyway.
Right.
so
We're gonna go slow.
We need to be procedural.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Nothing from me.
No?
Yeah, I'm good.
I would make a motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is open. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this application? Please come forward and state your name and where you live. and-
Why, you don't want me to speak?
No, I do.
I'm not coming just, I don't like you, Dave, you know. I'm Jane Tucker, and I live 2 houses down. Went through a very similar process. Our homes are built probably by the same builder
What,
at
Jane,
some
Jane,
point.
just for the record, what is your address?
269 Millard Avenue.
Okay, thank you.
And our homes were most likely built by the same builder in '53, and I went through a similar process. Mine was much more extensive than this. And, you know, the roof line, I think, is even, ours might even be higher, because we pitched 1212 on ours. And really, they're, you know, it's fine. I mean, it's not, and this is, again, so much less disruptive and time-wise, and so I'm supportive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public who would like to address this application? Hearing none, I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
The public hearing is closed. As I said, so here's the couple of caveats that we just need to put on the record. Normally, as a matter of precedent but not of law, usually board members who are within the notified zone on an application, usually as a courtesy and just a procedural thing, tend to recuse themselves. However, we are in the midst of summer and we only have 4 members. That would push this application necessarily to September. I did not want to do that with this application, and therefore I am participating in the voting, even though I live and reside within the notified zone, within the 200-foot zone. The second piece, and this is really more for the applicant to decide themselves, that is that with only 4 members present, a vote for approval must be unanimous. If the vote is not unanimous, the application is denied. It is 6 months before the application can be resubmitted. If the applicant asks not to have a vote tonight, we will just just continue this procedure, but there is no meeting in August, and therefore it would roll into September. So let me ask the applicant if you want to go forward with a vote this evening.
No, I appreciate all of that, and we realized getting it in July was important for us, so thanks. I don't, the only thing I would say is if anybody has a concern about this, in lieu of saying, please tell us what you're thinking as a vote, which seems a little bit beyond what might be fair. If you have a concern, I would like to have a chance to respond to it now. So I would just request that. And if, I would kind of take the risk that if no one does have a concern and they're not raising it, that, we'll I think, take our gamble.
The audience will refrain from me. So I would make a motion to approve the variance. It will not produce an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to any nearby properties by granting the area variance requested. There is no other way for this, for the applicant to achieve what they're trying to do because it is an existing non-conforming property. So there is no other way to do this without a variance of our code. It is not substantial. It is within inches, and therefore I don't see it as a substantial variance. It's very minor. It won't have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood, and it is not a self-created hardship. So I would make a motion to approve the variances as requested. All those in favor?
Yep, seconded and in favour.
The variance is approved. A resolution will be drafted and signed as soon as it's available to be signed and then delivered to the applicant.
Thanks.
So if that's it.
Thanks.
Do I
Thank you so
understand,
much.
you and your wife are both architects?
That's right.
So your restraint in this project is admirable. I would have expected that to try to approve something much grander, so.
They're paying
yeah.
for the change orders.
There's that.
And then how it will does look very nice. I think it'll be a nice change to the neighborhood as well, so.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
And thank you to our member of the public for coming over.
I think the board might want to keep a lookout for this methodology of insulating pre-existing homes because
Right.
just as may I add
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
Yeah,
comment to
please.
this?
Please, yeah.
This method has become so mainstream that Home Depot is carrying all the products that are necessary to perform this method for doing retrofit insulation for existing homes.
Really? Right.
So it's available daily at every Home Depot around the country, and so it's,
What's it called, the name of the product?
this is rock wool insulation.
Oh, it's Rockwool, okay.
It's rock wool.
Yep, yeah, I know
And
Rockwool,
the
yeah.
reason that it's kind of unique is that this is non-compressible. So they've produced something that will enable you to make a rain screen, and you don't need to hang from the wall through it. So you
Neat.
have no thermal
Wow.
bridging with
Right.
this at all. So yeah, with 3 inches of this, it is an R12, and with the construction of the wall, it will be an R30.
Wow,
That's
So
great.
it's pretty high. We're expecting
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
But we may run into, what you're suggesting is we may be looking at 6-inch expansions,
Mhm.
footprints,
Yeah.
Right,
5 to
right.
6-inch.
If it takes off, you'll be looking at this, and it'll be a zoning variance issue regularly, because it's an expansion
Right.
of the footprint.
Right.
And I have some code, some model code, where municipalities around the country are exempting this kind of.
But it's going to save a ton of energy.
Can you-
It's
can
really
you
good.
Get me a copy of that code
Well,
or
you know,
that, the
supplemental
proposal,
stuff,
so
yeah.
that I can pass that on to the Board of Trustees.
Yeah, I think it's novel.
Because if
so-
they want to make a variation or an amendment to the municipal code,
To just allow it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it can be done by them, but
Yeah.
not by us.
Right, right.
This is the model code New York City has adopted, and this is the entire.
Oh, okay.
text of the model code.
All right.
Okay,
That's
I
great,
will,
thank you.
I will thank
Do you
you.
wrap that around the outside of the home?
Yeah.
And
Thanks,
how
I'll
is
make sure
how's
that the
wet-
mayor
how's
gets a copy of
weather-
this.
doesn't affect-
There's a finished layer beyond
I
it.
got you.
It's basically a rain screen.
Okay.
Right,
It's neat stuff.
Great.
very interesting, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we are not going to deal with the minutes from March and April because we have members who were in attendance. We have some folks who are missing who were in attendance at those meetings, and some of you weren't at those meetings. So I think probably the easiest thing for us to do is to handle the minutes at the September meeting, when hopefully we have a more full board,
Yep.
post-vacation time. So
Sounds good.
therefore, I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Seconded.
All those in favor of adjourning? Thank you. Good night.
Very
Good
good.
night.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Thank you.